I'm gonna do some mods for the Sporty today, and I wanted to go out on a ride and explain all the things that I was gonna do to this bike. But you know what? Yeah, that's not happening today. It's 2022, and I know the Iron is an older bike both stylistically and with technology. But my focus while riding is to be safe as possible. Being seen is a big part of that. So these incandescent bulbs in the signals, both front and rear, and for the headlight, is not gonna work for me. I'm gonna swap out the headlight, I'm gonna swap out the signals for LED bulbs. It's gonna be a change that not only makes me more visible, not only at night, but also during the daytime, but having an LED headlight on there is gonna make me be able to see the road a lot better. If you follow this channel at all, hang on a second. If you followed this channel at all for a little bit, you know Harley mirrors are something that I like to complain a lot about. They're very difficult to see out of, no matter what bike I've ridden, from Softails to Sportsters to pretty much every Harley I've ridden, I haven't liked the mirrors. What I've done in the past in my Low Rider S is I bought some mirror extenders off of Amazon for really cheap. It worked great, I was able to see out of the mirrors, but I didn't like the look of them. It just didn't make the bike look the way I wanted it to look. What everybody does, one of the first mods they do for safety is take the right side mirror, flip it over, put it on the left side, take the left side mirror, flip it over and put it on the right side, upside down, so you can actually see out of it. Some riders don't really like that. They feel like looking down is not a great way to view the mirrors. To each their own. I not only like the way that I can see out of the mirrors a lot better, I like the looks a lot better. We'll be making that change today too. Evolution Sporties vibrate like crazy, especially at idle and really especially at high RPMs. Some riders like that, some riders don't. I love it at idle, I don't love it at high RPMs. So I'm gonna do a few things to counteract that. These grips right now, they don't really dampen those vibrations at all. So I'm gonna add some different grips on here. It's gonna soften those vibrations and it's gonna be a lot more comfortable to ride on longer rides. The other thing I'll do to soften those vibrations are down by my feet here. These foot pegs, they just don't cut it. You feel every vibration and they're really small. So I'm gonna put something wider and more comfortable on there to dampen those vibrations both at idle and at high speed. And one final mod we'll do, and probably the money shot for this video, is swapping out this craptacular seat. You all know what I'm gonna put on. I might save that one for last. Let's get started with these mirrors. It's super easy. It's just loosening this bolt down here and then flipping the mirrors, tightening them back up. So the right side signal's in the way a little bit, so I'm just gonna take a 5/32 hex and loosen it up, get it out of the way, put the mirror up there, and then go ahead and pop this back in. Another thing that happens is a lot of guys get confused by the throttle wires here and how to make the mirror fit. Do you put it on the left side or do you put it on the right side? I split the difference. It's nice and easy, put them right between it. That's looking better already. Let's get this headlight swapped out. I don't know if you can hear that. My girlfriend's son is learning how to play the saxophone. He's been playing for about 8 days. That headlight's looking pretty good. Super useful. It's the Wyzamic headlight. Bought it off of Amazon for 45 bucks. Plenty bright. Much brighter than the incandescent. Pretty pleased with it. Let's move on to the bulbs. I like how nice and bright these are. These Pro beams are gonna be wonderful for visibility. They're super bright. I like the smoke covers a little bit better. While the bike's off, yeah, it's not as visible, but if the bike's off, you don't really need it to be visible. So I'll probably swap out these red covers for smoke covers. Just looks a little bit better. But for now, I love these quite a bit. Let's move on to the pegs. These stock pegs don't dampen vibrations very well, and they're pretty small, so they're not very comfortable. So I'm gonna swap these out with the Kuryakin Heavy Industry foot pegs. These things are much more comfortable because they're wider, longer, and they dampen vibrations a lot more. That's something that I'd like to have while at highway speed. So I'm really looking forward to putting these on and using them. Let's get started. I'm super pleased with these Kuryakin foot pegs. I used the switchblade versions of these in the past. These are almost exactly like the switchblades. Obviously the difference is this doesn't have the switchblade feature. With mid controls it doesn't really make much sense because your heel gets put way too far back. These are gonna work well for me and they were super easy to install. I can't wait to use them. Now for the money shot. Goes without saying, of course I'd put a Sidelman step up on this Sportster. There's a good reason we're putting these on our Harley. It's comfortable and it looks good. Not much else to say about it. I think it's time to take this off the lift and take it for a ride.